Hello and welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. Yes, I'm doing a reveal. You're not seeing my mug. We're at the table looking at cards, going over how a few things actually work. In the meantime, I did have a game not that long, just the other night, where that was really neat. Let's see here. I really wasn't planning on going over that, but it was where. And if you follow me on Facebook, it was I mentioned it there where I think it was Grotesque, but I had Trash Crash, and he's up here somewhere. And I had Shoulder Holster on Trash Crash because Trash Crash is a Spark Armor, and when you have a utility on a Spark Armor and it gets KO'd and it goes on the character, you can also, it can come, okay. Well, this is Cosmic Patrol, but I've made all of these like that. I've got the verbiage on here that, when it's KO'd, you may put a utility upgrade that was equipped on this onto the character that this was equipped, so it is taking it with it. And well, when I put the shoulder holster on my Spark Armor, I played it, I drew a card. It was an actual weapon. That's a utility. It was an actual weapon, so I went boom, I got to do that. I had a weapon and utility on my Spark Armor, which has very low health. It got KO'd. This came with it. It gets triggered again because it's going being now put on Grotesque. I got to draw a card, which was another weapon. Excuse me, I said armor, I meant weapon. It was an actual weapon. And because Shoulder Holster does open up a second weapon slot, it was able to go up under my Spark Armor at the same time. So that was really cool. I may have to try Cosmic Patrol against my fellow player. So that it was really neat. I did lose the game. I had a lot of neat things going, but with having a specialist or two, I didn't have field communicators. If I had some field communicators and really had some of that action going on, it may have been a little different. And the deck I was playing with was really not meant for those characters, but there's that. Now we have a whole lot many new cards to go over. Let's go over, and I kind of teased it in one of my other, these are all pretty flimsy. They're just in a sleeve right now. We're open. I'm going to have to read these myself. While the equipped character also has the Matrix of Leadership, it has Focus 1. So, let's say Grotesque, flip him to his bot mode, he looks a little cooler. He has the Matrix of Leadership. Well, he's not a leader, but he can still wear it. But he has Open, which is also going to give him +2 to defense, or now +5 to defense for his alt mode. But while he's wearing the Matrix of Leadership, he now has Focus 1. Now, if he was a leader, that might be a different story. Now, you really can't have, unless it's somebody like Galaxy Prime or something, to where you could have, the Matrix of Leadership and a shoulder holster, or the orange card that allows you to have 2 armors, I believe. It just escaped my mind. I said it the other video that I think that allows you to, is it an armor that allows 2 utilities, or a utility that allows 2 armors? I forgot which, to where you really can't have 2 of the same open at the 2 slots at the same time unless you do have some. Anyway, open. So that's basically all this is doing, is like, well, funny, I didn't even think of that, because it's a picture of War of Cybertron from Netflix. Prime has his chest open, and that's basically what I called this after. But it's like, in a sense, opening the leadership to being able to at least just get focus 1, which isn't big, but you're having car upgrades really interlinking and doing some neat stuff. Especially, say, like even my... I don't have it cut out. I thought I had it cut out. My throne, that the Predacon card. I said Decepticon, but it's actually, I made it a Predacon card. So where if Grotesque was had that throne equipped as an armor, he's now a leader. So now with the Matrix of Leadership on him, now this is going to get triggered, and he's going to give everyone else +1 to attack and pierce 1. Or even in retrospect with the Tainted Matrix, you've got that floating armor. That's what it's called. The floating armor on a Decepticon. And now this is for Autobots only. And then if you have the Tainted Matrix on a Decepticon, then you're able to give all your other characters +1 to defense. As long as they're, this is Predacon Waspinator. As long as it is not a leader, it's going to give them the leader trait. If it was already a leader, then it's immaterial. Why do you have a floating armor on him? But, along those same lines. Now, what's the difference between if you have Pterosaur and then you made the stratagem for Pterosaur that when there are no leaders in your team, he's already a leader? Well, exactly. Then he doesn't need the floating throne now, does he? For the entire game. Floating throne is only going to give them the leadership trait when they are in play and while the upgrade is equipped on him. That's it. So there is that. Let's look at next Raw Energon Dagger. Raw Energon Dagger is a white pip weapon card with +2 to attack. But it is for mercenaries only. Yeah, poor little Mudflap. He probably doesn't get to see much play. So it's going to give for mercenaries only. When the equipped character attacks an enemy equipped with any card with Energon in the title, it gets +1 to attack and pierce 1. So it starts with attack of 2 and pierce 2, which isn't a fusion bore. But if you're attacking somebody else with cards like Energon Slingshot, Energon Axe, Energon Mace, or one of my regular Energon cards, or Red Energon, or anything with Energon, then it's going to turn this into +3 to attack and pierce 3. So that's Raw Energon Dagger. So this is an interesting, especially if you're trying to play with your mercenaries. It's not a fusion bore, but it's sort of the opposite of that, because fusion bore is a black pip card. This is a white pip card. Why I have an Autobot symbol on here for mercenaries only, I don't know why that is. That might be something I might need to fix. In the meantime, let's look at Bearings of Chrome Steel. And I've been trying to reveal these cards over and over, so I feel like I've gone over this before, and I have, but I've never released anything. So that's part of this. So Brave, when the equipped character defends and you have a character with more stars also tapped, equipped with a utility, you may put that utility on this character. So Grotesque has 12 stars, Waspinator has 6, and Air Razor has 7. Let's just say this is like Energon Hustler's Matrix. Let's say I have the Matrix on Grotesque, Bearings of Chrome Steel on Air Razor. Well, and let's say we have Grotesque in that mode. Air Razor's also defending. Well, now she's got Brave. I took the heat off Grotesque to put it on Air Razor. So they're going to have to go into Air Razor. But Grotesque has more stars and a utility. So I'm going to force my opponent to go into Air Razor with Bearings of Chrome Steel, and at the same time, since Grotesque is tapped, with the utility, boop, I can bring it over and put it on Air Razor as well. Does it go back? No, it stays on Air Razor. She's going to be defending. She's not going to get this attack by any means, but you know, just something to be able to move around. Utilities, rarely do utilities other than say something like shoulder holster actually trigger trigger an ability when it's actually put on. It's pretty rare. It's mostly your enforcement batons, your weapons and armors can sometimes have a triggering effect when they are put on. Less likely are our utilities. Of course, I've been making a lot of utilities, so there is that. Bearings of Chrome Steel. It's a white and orange pip. Only Autobots are going to get the white pip for the flip. And it only has +1 to defense, so it is a weak, interesting card for Autobot decks. So there is that. Up next is the Star Saber. Star Saber can go on anybody. It's obviously a weapon with a white pip and blue to defense. So it's going to give Air Razor, who has melee in this mode, defense, and Grotesque is a specialist here. Yeah, she's melee in both modes, so she would be able to get the blue on the flip for the defense. While this is on an Autobot, though, it has +1 to attack until end of a turn, so it's basically +3 to attack for our Autobots. While this is equipped on a character that has, again, well, the Matrix of Leadership. After the equipped character attacks, put a counter on it. So let's say Grotesque attacks, but put a counter on it. It has bold 1 for each counter. Well, when you attack, you put the counter on it. But part of your attack is the last thing you do for your turn. So he's not going to be, he won't get the bold for that turn unless I say, let's see here. No, I do have the word after. While the equipped character has the Matrix of Leadership equipped, after the equipped character has attack, put a counter on it. So even if the Matrix of Leadership gets vaporized or something to that effect, it will still have the Star Saber, and will still get its bold 1. And I did not put a max because if this gets bashed or taken off or smelted or whatever, or you swap it out, the counters, this is not, the Star Saber won't be on the character, so the counter basically comes off too. I don't specify that, but it should be pretty obvious. If you've got a counter on a character and you don't have the upgrade on it, it does nothing because it's not triggering anything with just a counter, so you just might as well take it off. It's just as simple as that. Let's take a look at Dark Reflection. Dark Reflection is a simple looking orange pip card with +1 to defense. Not a big deal, don't you think? Well, while this is on a prime, I don't know, I got a couple of primes over here. While it's on a prime, he has +1 to defense. So 2, 3, 4. Now Optimus Prime has 4 defense. When the equipped character defends against a prime, let's say you're up against Nemesis Prime, it has +1 to defense and reduce the attacker's pierce by 2. So now Dark Reflection is giving Optimus Prime, Battlefield Legend, yes, just as an example, 3 defense. So now he has 5 defense against Nemesis over here, and you're able to take his total pierce down by 2. Dark Reflection. It's a really good, aggressive on the flip defensive card for Optimus Primes. Of course, it can be easily bashed. It's just an armor. Let's see here. Up next, we have... Oh, there we go. Teletrans Revenge. Put on Titans or Guardians only. So, we can put it on Thripticon. You gotta print it out a Necro Titan. He's a Titan. Titan. Not Unicron. Not that Unicron. But as long as it's a Guardian, which is basically Omega Supreme, in any Titan, I did not put combiners. I did not put combiner mode. But, you know, trying to give these guys a little play. Even Metroplex, who is also a Titan. I'm making some Guardians. So in Teletrans Revenge is an armor. It's an orange-blue armor. The blue is only going to give defense to, well, Titans. It's the Titan trait. Put on them only. After the equipped character defends against a spaceship, do 2 damage to your attacker. Well, let's say I've got my Spetabots going up against, I don't know, Necro Titan. Nice big homemade character brawl. Well, Speared attacks Necro Titan, and after Necro Titan has Teletrans Revenge on him, do 2 damage to your attacker. So Speared's going to be hit by 2 after battle. Or even your Shockwave, or your Alpha Trion, or Astro Train in his Alt 2 mode, or I think it's Alt 2, his spaceship mode. So, you know, really trying to bring in and utilize more traits, more triggers, more things to go in against your attacker. So it's a nice armor with a nice +2 to defense, which would, heavens, give this Necro Titan +6 for defense against Speared. And then he's going to hit Speared for 2 after that. Poor Speared. I like Speared. So there is that. Titan's Revenge. A nice, simple looking armor with a punch and defense. No, we looked at Dark Reflection. Occupied. A friend of mine who passed away about, gosh, has it been 4 years ago or more? If you went in the restroom and you tried to open the door, you'd hear his voice, occupied. It was a running joke among us at work. I'm sorry. But, okay, it's a simple white looking secret action. And it is a picture from War for Cybertron where the Autobots have the Beast War Predacons and Decepticons kind of... they were leading them to death. No, they actually had them in prisoner for a while. So when one of your characters defends, let's just bring in... Well, this is a perfect setup. Let's just put it on... Waspinator had more defense. Maybe Waspinator wouldn't get blown up all the time. Let's put it on Waspinator. Well, it's actually a secret action. So Waspinator is defending. So he defends. Occupied gets revealed on the trigger. When revealed, when your defender is an Autobot. Whoops. Make him an Autobot. Let's make it grotesque. But the point is we've got more than 2 factions. We've got a Predacon, an Autobot, and a Maximal. When your defender is an Autobot and your starting team has at least 2 different factions, it gets +2 to defense. You're welcome. I haven't seen anybody make anything like this. So when you're multi-factioned, at least 2. And expand your star count more than your limited 25. You can really do some fun things. But these guys do equal 25. So as long as it's grotesque, or even if He's got Brave. They're going to have to go in Brave. I know what's going to happen. I play my secret action. It gets triggered. He already has 3 to defense. Now he's got 5 to defense. Of course, if the opponent has Pierce, he's still going to get hit. But that is occupied. It's going to help your Autobots out when you're playing with other faction characters. So there is that. Up next is Repair Mode. And again, let's use Waspinator. Repair Mode. Reveal. It's not an upgrade. So he's defending. After one of your characters defends, repair 1 damage to your defender for each green pip flipped by your attacker. So, I don't know. Whoa. Let's say this is the attack. 1, 2, white, pip. Well, I don't know. Let's say it's grotesque. I don't know. We've got. Let's see here. Waspinator. He flips 1. I thought I had a blue right there. I was looking for a blue. Flipping from the bottom. 1, 2. So he flips for 3. So let's say the attack is 6. 6 to 3 is 3. So he gets hit by 3, but repair 1 damage to your defender for each green pip flipped by your attacker. They flipped 1. So now you take 1 off. Now he still has 3 health and not just 2 anymore. So there is that. So Repair Mode is a secret action with a white and orange pip card. The white pips are only you're only going to be able to get the double flip for your maximals. And on the attack, on their defense, if they happen to flip green pips and they're still in play, you can repair them based on by 1 for each green pip flipped. I don't use red pips in case you haven't noticed. So I thought Repair Mode was a neat way to do that. That is from the episode when, Airazor actually showed up and he went into stasis mode for a second for Rhinox to bring us Airazor. So there is that. One more minor intelligence. You may swap a utility from one character to another. So, yeah, let's say something strange and you had something and it wasn't Grotesque's turn. You needed something to give Waspinator just an edge, and you have certain cards in your deck, and you're like, well, I've got the Matrix of Leadership. Let me just put it on Waspinator. It's his turn to attack. And now you untap, you have this in your hand, play Minor Intelligence, swap your utility from one to another. So now Grotesque has the Matrix of Leadership. If he happens to have the Floating Throne, now he's also going to be able to, because he's an Autobot, now he can... Well, now you're right. Well, the Waspinator cannot wear the Matrix of Leadership, but you know what I mean. You know that was a bad example, but shoulder holster might be a better thing, to where you can trigger that, try to draw a card, it gets triggered. If it's a weapon, you can play it, which is one of our rare ones, shoulder holster, and the other one whose card name I can't remember right off the bat. Now we got 3 more cards to go over, and this should go pretty quickly. Haven't seen this guy in a while, have you? Neither have I. But I was trying to come up with some cards for my Unicron. Is he Raid Unicron? No. You can play him with anybody at any time for the heck of it to see what happens. But in order to bring the other parts of Unicron in, you have to utilize them all. So if the Maw is in this mode, you tap it, you can bring a part in to try to build Unicron. Some people don't like flipping their Transformers for turns, so it might as well be Magic or something else where characters don't flip. But my point was try to flip them all, to flip it back, for when you flip it, you can automatically tap it for turn and trigger the ability and bring in another part to continue to try to build Unicron. Once you have all of them in the field or half in the KO, wherever they are, then you can actually flip over and build Unicron. Well, in order to bump that up just slightly faster, I made a blank pip card called Summon. Using this just looks so cool. Using a picture from YouTube of Season of Kingdom, add a Unicron part to your battlefield. So now it is a blank pip card. If I wanted some blank pip cards in a Unicron deck, yeah, and I wouldn't want many, I would definitely want this. So Summon would help me to fill up Unicron and get him flipped quicker. And while he does take up space and has a lot of health, his attack is only 6. It's not 7 or 8 like some other large characters we have. In the meantime, being sucked into it is a black and blue pip upgrade weapon. The blue has the planet trait on it, so it can't go in that Unicron. I don't see the planet trait on it, this big one up here. But I used it. I used it for mine. And that has the planet trait. And these have the planet traits, but these don't. These really don't. The bottom parts, you can use them for attack. You can put upgrades on them. They don't have traits at all. But the top part, what starts in the field, does. So only this would be a decent for a Unicron deck for my Unicron. Yeah, it's not shiny. I apologize. But they're going to get the defense for the blue. While this is on the Maw of Unicron, it has Pierce 2, then scrap the card after the battle. So if you have some Summon in here, then you're be able to pull in some cards. Of course, this will be a dead card when you are actually able to build Unicron. In the meantime, the Maw only has an attack of 1 or 0. So you really would not want to put the Maw at make it vulnerable, because when this is out, you can't build Unicron. But you can still build it now as Summon. So that's why this has stealth, unless they have the Spy Satellite card uplink and break this, and then they can go into the Maw, which is part of the game. I had a friend, he actually defeated my Unicron, and I was actually happy about it. You were happy about it? You will die, and you'll be happy about it. Harry Potter. So, yeah, I was because I really thought my Unicron was a little too strong, but he got smart. There we go. He got smart, broke the stealth, and I still was able to build Unicron, I think, and it came down to the wire. That was many months ago, eh, Kevin? But the point is being sucked into it is a weapon. It's going to give any piece that it's on, well, for this mode, it would just be Unicron. It would give him 9 to attack now with this weapon, but I'd have to scrap it after battle, so it's always going back into your deck. And so these two are specifically for Unicron. Deconstripted, boy, that's hard to say. I don't know if that's even a real word or not, is an orange and black pip card, while this one's blue and black. The orange has the planet trait on it, so it mainly specifically for Unicron. But wait, there's more. When one of your characters defends, your attacker's armor returns to their hand, and scrap your attacker's utility. So I was really looking at and really researching a little bit. Disarmed, disassembled, smelt, vaporize, going through all our official cards of how upgrades come off characters. Where are they going? Are they going into their scrap? Are they going into their hand? Etc., etc. And I started thinking, we don't have anything like this. And I thought, with the picture that I took off YouTube, I'm thinking this is perfect. And I didn't want to wipe all of them off the board. I just wanted to get most of them. So it's going to keep your opponent's weapon, unfortunately, but it's going to strip. So it's going to give your Unicron parts the attack and the pierce. When it's only because when you start with only these in play, maybe I should have gone over these separately. This has gone a little longer than I wanted to. So it just seemed like the next best thing. So if your opponent, I don't know, like Waspinator could go up against Unicron, and he's got on, I don't know, shoulder holster, improvised shield, and an Energon axe. I just pulled something out of my hat, Rocky. How about that? And he's going up against Unicron. Unicron flips this. These two are gone. All he has is the axe. He's still going to get his attack, and it will probably Waspinator's strongest attack. But if he had anything better, like something else, or my Tainted Matrix, or whatever else, or Dark Reflection, or Titan's Revenge, or well, that can't go on him. Let's say, Dark Reflection and maybe something else. They're all going to get wiped out, and he's not going to have that extra defense on the defense, and Waspinator will probably get clobbered by Unicron because he doesn't have enough defense all the time. So that's really, and the thing is about Deconstripted is that it is a simple black pip card when not in use with a Unicron or a planet traded character, which the only one I know of is my Unicron. They didn't even do that on the Unicron raid unless they are thinking about redoing that, and I thought I have heard that. So in the meantime, you could put this in with any other deck to be able to get Pierce. Yeah, at least be a Pierce card that can wipe out 2 upgrades. Of course, the utility, they're not just scrapped. The armor goes back into their hand. Their utility is scrapped off the attacker. Of course, if they don't have a weapon, then they'll be upgradeless anyway once they're done with you. Once they've done attacking you. So that's all I have right now. My gosh, I got to get back to work. I've got too much to do. So that's all we have today. Thank you for watching. It's been fun. I like doing this a little better. So we went over my 3 sort of Unicron cards with Deconstripted being sucked into it. Summon. We have Minor Intelligence. And the beasts get your beast traits get the Pierce. It's also a white pip card, a white pip action card. Being able to swap a utility from one character to another, which is not that big of a deal. But if you're playing Wizards of the Coast beasts, or even Beat My Beast Wars or someone else's Beast Wars, it might be worth it to be able to swap and even say get that shoulder holster re-triggered. Occupied, secret action with a white pip. The Star Saber with white and a blue melee. Teletrans Revenge with orange and blue for your Titans. Bearings of Chrome Steel. White pip for your Autobots. An orange pip card. Raw Energon Armor, which is stronger with Energon Mace, Energon Axe, Energon Slingshot, or anything with Energon in it. Even homemade cards like my red Energon, or regular Energon, etc., etc. Open, which basically is going to really help your leaders. It's got the leader trait and the pierce, and blue for the flip for everyone else, and +2 to defense for anyone actually wearing this without the matrix of leadership. And I forgot if I've gone over Squished like Iron Butterfly, which is really good, especially for, say, Waspinator or even Grotesque, because I made Grotesque a helicopter and a beast, and he's a helicopter in both modes. So Waspinator would get the Pierce 2 for the flip every time, unless he's in maybe bot mode. While the equipped character is tapped, it cannot take Pierce damage. You're welcome. Only the certain traits are going to get the pierce and the flip, but it only gives +1 for defense on the armor. Squish like Iron Butterfly, but they have to be tapped. While the equipped character is tapped, it cannot take pierce. So if you just untapped and it's your opponent's turn, they can go into Waspinator and get pierce in. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. This is going to be a booger of a time to be able to edit. And as always, have a great day. Have a blessed day. And as always, Autobots, flip out and let's roll for it.